So the second solve was a 4.3, and looking at the scramble, I looked at white. I had like these two already solved. This is just one move away. And I also noticed this block. So when you have a block like this, I immediately look for its edge. So this is the red-blue white corner, and I have this red-blue edge right in the back. So I planned an X cross, and my idea was to put this in, align the blue edge, and go straight into inserting this edge. Now since that was so easy, I also tried to look for my first pair, and I saw these two, the orange-blue edge and the orange-blue white corner. This is all I planned, basically. This corner is just going to end up back here, and this edge is going to be in here by the time I'm done with the X cross. And that's very easy to look ahead to this pair or possibly this pair. But anyways, I just went straight into it, insert the red corner, align. Here I went L2 to insert this edge in right away to solve this, and D prime. Now I also planned these two, so what I did was this, pair them up. Now here, I saw this and this, so when I inserted this, I went straight for this. However, I also could have done this, which doesn't give a good continuation, but it's also rotationless. But I went for these two. Now I have these two. Very easy to solve. Now at this point I was seeing these blocks, and I did U prime. I was about to do sexy sledge into A prime, but I realized I know this one with last layer. And you can tell the AUF by looking at this left side here. This blue bar needs a U prime to align with the blue side. And so I just did this. And U, and the cube is solved, and that was 4.3. I did hesitate a bit at the end because I know it was already a very fast-paced solve. I actually ended up hesitating doing this, deciding whether or not I should do the one with last layer. But good thing I did. It was a bit shaky, but 4.3. So the third solve was 5.27, and I remember looking at this scramble, and wow, that's a lot of good things happening here. I see this. However, I didn't do white. I actually ended up doing yellow. I don't know why, but I saw this block, and I was thinking of making an X cross like the last scramble. But the thing is, it's really hard for me to see how I can use this edge to my advantage since it's in the bottom layer, and it's misoriented in a way where I can't actually make a block and solve an X cross. So I ended up doing a really weird solution. These two were actually my first pair. So I first started off by inserting green like this. Then I did R. Now the idea behind this was I'm gonna do D and do an insert red, and that pushes this corner out. But after D2, I realized that R prime FR would orient the edge so I can solve this pair rotationless. Now in the process, I was looking ahead to this pair. So in solving this, I realized, oh, those are gonna pair up. And so I see these two, and I insert them into the back. Okay, so now we have the last two pairs. I looked ahead to the red-green pair, but I also saw these two, and I realized I can do pseudo slotting. There are a few ways to do this. I could insert this in, but that gives a very bad case for these two if I wanted to pseudo slot. So instead what I did was I rotated and inserted this here. And that gives me a better case for these two. Next I did D prime to create one slot. Now I pair these two up. I noticed I have a dot, so I just sledgehammered to orient some edges. And would you look at that? Okay, so here I was hesitating a lot. This is not a good OLL by any means, but there's some algorithms that are better than others. And here I could have done this, and that just solved the cube. However, I was panicking. I did like U, or something like that. I was hesitating, what should I do? And I ended up being here. And since I saw this block and this block from this angle, I realized that if I did this algorithm, which I learned from Brian's son, it would skip PLL with no AOF. So that's what I did. It was very shaky though, and so the TPS on this solve could have been really high, and it could have been sub 5, but 5.27 was still a good solve. And I was already on a good pace for an average anyways, so the time didn't matter too much to me. I just needed low 5s. So in the fourth solve, I got a 5.95, which I believe was full step, and that actually secured me a 5.24 average. So that was already my PB average. However, I had one more solve to go, so I knew I could lower the average. I didn't think I could lower the average, but as long as I got something faster than 5.95, I could get sub 5.2. But what happened next was crazy. On the 5th solve, I got a 4.9, which is faster than the worst solve by over a second. And what that did is it brought my average all the way down to sub 5. I got the solve and I was just in shock. I was in disbelief. I was looking at the time, I was looking at the average, and I gasped. I literally gasped audibly and stood up and walked around the house trying to comprehend what I just did with my life. The 5th solve was actually extremely lucky. If you look at yellow, I have this pair, I have this cross edge. I also have this block that I could use, but I wasn't considering it since this edge is not nice. And so I was looking around for quite a bit because white also looked really nice, but I couldn't find anything good with this edge being misoriented, so I ended up going for yellow. And I only planned one pair, red-blue. That was it. I was just gonna have to rely on look ahead for the rest of this solve. But luck was on my side that day. As you've already seen, I skipped PLL 3 out of 5 times. And so I needed some kind of skip on this solve to just get a sub 5. I started off by doing L to solve red across from orange. Then here I did F prime. Here I was planning to move this pair away while also inserting green. So I did U2 and then F prime. So now the pair is over here and blue is over here. So to finish the cross, I just align. And I noticed this pair over here. Good thing I stuck to my plan with solving this and then solving this. I was thinking of a brilliant idea to do with these two pairs, which is this, but I probably shouldn't do that. So instead, I realized I'm just gonna keyhole this edge into here. I noticed here I could have done wide U prime and I could have inserted this right away. Instead, I did D prime, then rotated, which is not smart, but anyways, I inserted this edge like this, and that pairs these two up. I was already looking ahead really well at this point, and I knew these two were gonna pair up after I inserted this. And here my look ahead just went full beast mode. I realized I would skip OLO, and I would get some kind of R-perm with headlights at the back. I don't know how I saw that, it was just my gut instinct to see from these two sides I had an R-perm. I also saw this block, I caught a little glimpse of it in the insertion of that pair. But anyways, I got the R-perm, which I solved easily like this, and U2 AUF, I think I did this, stopped the timer in 4.9. So looking at these solves, it looks like my luck is off the charts. I had skips on every counting solve, 4.5 counting, 4.9 counting, and 5.2 counting. I also really liked how I handled the luck. There was some really nice PLL skips in there. The one with last layer on the best solve was nice. Very solid average for me. I hope to beat it soon. But anyways, thanks for watching. This was very good average for me, and I hope to beat it soon. Make sure you take what you've learned from this video, implement it in your own solves, pseudo pairing, looking ahead, setting up other pairs, all that good stuff. Alright, see ya.